Everybody, we're back in our normal spot because doing a little bit of crocheting for Pride Month. So I'm gonna make a pansexual cardigan. Mainly because I just want to use up all the colors that I have so far, and it so happens that I have the colors for the pan flag, and so that's what we're doing. If I had any other colors, I would, but I don't have the full rainbow on me. If I did, call the Skittle Squad because fuck, man. I need to be restrained of the rainbow. But this is all I have, so I'm just gonna make a pan, whatever the fuck. And don't ask me if I'm pan. I don't give a fuck. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't want to put labels on things, the deal. But, anyways, I wasn't coming on here to discuss that matter. I could if I wanted to because I have free will, but today I'm not doing that because I have some other things in mind that I want to discuss. And it's mainly about something that's a little bit more chronically online, and I'm not sure if you guys are looped in the know or whatever the fuck. But I'm also gonna be crocheting, so we're not gonna make a lot of eye contact. I'm gonna be a little weird today in that regard, but it's okay. You guys don't have to stare into my eyes to understand what I'm saying. Just listen to what I gotta say, okay? So basically, the topic is about I'm just gonna say girls because I'm not sure if this applies to guys because I'm not a guy. I don't have testicles on me to confirm what they think. If I did, I probably still wouldn't, know what they would think because guys are an enigma in this world. And so, yes. But essentially, the topic is about how girls are attracted. Well, some girls, or some women, should I say, because, I mean, I don't know, but anyway, some women are really interested in like the really weird guys, and by weird, I don't mean like I don't know, fucking Paul Dano. Paul Dano just looks weird, but overall, he's a pretty chill dude from what I have seen. But I don't know him. He could be a fucking tuna muncher for all I care. But like what I mean by weird is I mean like criminally weird, weird to the point where it's legally binding. It's legally it like crosses the boundary of oh my god, he's so sweet, to oh my fucking god, someone call the police, get me a restraining order type of weird. And I think this stems, and this is like not of like a full overcast of everybody, every single woman on earth, but it's definitely I've noticed that it's more of the chronically online people that have these desires, these obsessions, these tastes for the particular men that I'm speaking about. And it's I don't want to say too much, but it's always the straights, man. It's always the straights that are into these type of men. They like these stalkerish men, these men who have quote unquote dark thoughts, and these really obsessive, possessive, really controlling men. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, ah, because you know me. I've been on the interwebs. I've read a lot of them daddy fanfics, some alpha fanfics, and I'm not gonna say that I've never engaged with this content, but I kind of wonder if they're being for real about it because you know me. I go on the internet and I take everything as it is, and as it is, some people are just fucking freaky, and I'm not sure if that freakazoid is warranted because are we being for real about enjoying stalkers or wanting someone who's to stalk you? Are we being for real about wanting a man that's so controlling over you that you can't even fucking wear panties outside? You have to wear I don't know, like leather hide. I don't fucking know. I don't know how controlling relationships work, obviously, but I'm just curious about if women are actually genuinely interested in being stalked, because there is a subset of individuals on the internet, and I have not interacted with them, but I have observed from afar, kind of like that nature thing where when you're doing field research, you don't have to interact with the animals, but you just have to look at their behavior. That's kind of what I do on the internet. I don't really engage. Sometimes I do, but the other times I try to keep a good distance away from them because it can get freaky deaky in there. And so this community that I have observed from afar um, tends to be the people that really, really enjoys fiction, like fan fiction, young adult novels. They enjoy like horror movies. I don't know if they enjoy. Okay, I'm not them, but if I were them, I would probably be interested in like the darker side of the interwebs because I don't know where you would get this obsession from other than being influenced by the media that you consume. Because no normal person, well, I don't want to say like normal person, but no sane person on this god green earth would sit down and be like, oh wow, like I would love to have a stalker in my midst. I would love to have someone that observes my every single movement without my consent and violates my privacy. I would love someone to just violate me in that way. Is this big enough? I don't know. I want to make like an oversized cardigan a little bit, but everything that I make is literally meant like for an XXXL person because I hang up my fucking clothes for no reason and it stretches to the point where whenever I wear it, it makes me look like a dope. But I will have that video up fairly soon. Um, I've just been really lazy on getting the crochet stuff up because oh my gosh, that is so much work. And we will just have to wait on that. But anyways, back to that topic. I don't know if it's like like a fantasy thing for them. Like it could be because I mean you could say something on the internet and it's just a fantasy because you're hiding behind a screen and no one's actually gonna do it to you because you look like me, someone fugly and like unattractive and stays inside the house all the fucking time. You're not gonna attract a stalker if you're fucking inside the house. If you're inside the house, the call is not coming, bro, because no one knows you're in there. If you're just in hibernation like me, and I'm assuming that a lot of these women are neats and not like me because I'm not neat. I leave the house willingly, okay? I'm able to leave the house without, fucking shivering my timbers. But I feel like a lot of these individuals who have this, obsession with stalkers or people who control you and stuff like that are people who don't really interact with the outside world a lot. Dare I say, I'm not saying that as a diss because that is also a call that's coming from inside the house because I stay inside the house. I don't do shit and I have some things about me that could be questionable, but that's just me. I'm not fucking going online and being like, "Oh wow, I wish someone would kidnap me and keep me hostage in their basement and I would fall in love with them because that's so attractive." Like if I Oh my god, have you guys seen those like I don't know if you guys have, but there's like this thing where it's like, oh, if someone kidnapped me and they were really like sweet to me, I think I would fall for them. And I'm just like, some of y'all just need to stop watching Beauty and the Beast because that shit is fictional. That is fictional. If someone kidnapped you and if they were and there is a low likelihood that they would be attracted or attractive to you because usually people who feel the need to kidnap people are not someone that has the charm, the wits, the riz to pick up somebody just as is. They would need to do something illegal in order to get someone to be interested in them or to get someone just in general. And so if they were attractive, they wouldn't feel the need to kidnap you, I would feel. And so the act of kidnapping in itself indicates to me that they feel as if they are insignificant. They feel insecure. They feel as if they don't have a lot about them and a redeeming factor about them. So if you were to be kidnapped, let's think about this, okay? Let's think about this critically and analytically and just a little bit grounded because as you guys know, I'm not the most grounded person, but I do like to think. I do like to thunker. And when I thunker, it gets wicked. Okay? And so, sorry, I just was thinking of something. But, anyways, it wasn't correlating to this topic. But let's think about this, right? Let's imagine you were to get kidnapped. You were just, mind your own business, fucking go inside getting groceries or some dumb shit like that. And next thing you know, whoop! You're taken. You're just fucking head over your like the bag over your fucking head. There's some fucking screaming happening from you. You're like, oh my god, let me go. I need to get home to my body pillow, whatever. Okay, whatever you got going at home. I need to get home because I need to make lasagna or some shit like that. Okay. And you're screaming, you're hollering, and you get tied up, chucked into a fucking van, and next thing you know, you're bum, you're being hauled to a new location, and you're just begging to the fucking dude, please let me go, please, please, I need to go home. I have a cat that loves lasagna and I need to feed it. Blah blah blah. You try to sympathize with the motherfucker, but the dude is mentally ill because he just kidnapped somebody. And then he takes you to a secret location, fucking chucks you in there like a sack of potatoes, and in a deep voice, he's like, "Stay there." I don't know. Maybe he has like a fucking nerd voice, like, "You have to stay there, or else." I don't know. Fucking some dumb voice. Okay, I don't know what he would sound like. And you stay in there, you're shivering in your fucking timbers because one, you've been kidnapped, two, you've been kidnapped, and three, you've been kidnapped. And you don't know what this motherfucker's gonna do to you. You don't know if he has a gun. You don't know if he has a pencil. You don't know if he has a plastic knife. You don't know what he has. And so you're shivering in your fucking timbers because, oh my gosh, like, why the fuck did you just get kidnapped? And you're, just sitting in there in the dark with the fuck tied up and all shit, and you don't know where the fuck you are and all that business. And next thing you know, that guy comes in. I'm assuming it's the dude because this is my fantasy. He comes in. He's like, he unties you or whatever the fuck. I don't know what he would do to you, but essentially he tries to be quote unquote nice to you by giving you food, which is, dare I say, a human necessity because he's probably left you in there for what, 10 hours while he uses his small brain to try to conjure up any, like, a plan of how to get away with kidnapping. And so within that 10 hours, you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, you have so much anxiety. And then you come in, and next thing you know, he just gives you, like, I don't know, like a fucking bowl of Cheerios that's been sitting out for an hour because he's been too shy to come in and talk to you. And you're just like, oh wow, he's such an uwu baby because he waited because he was so anxious about coming in to see me. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. For some people, I would be like, man, fuck them Cheerios. Let me out. I don't have business at home. I don't really have anything to live for. But I don't want to be here because I don't know you, bro. And so I would be like, let me call the police. Actually, just let me go and I won't call the police. You know what? Like, it's all done and did. I had a fun time and we're done here. Okay? Like, no business, no farm, no howl, no harm, no foul. We're good, okay? But no, this instead, if you were in this position, and I'm assuming you're one of these mentally sick people, you would be like, oh wow, thank you so much for feeding me. I love you so much because you're giving me food. And it's obvious that you care about me. And over the course of how many fucking days that motherfucker keeps you down in that dark, dank ass basement, he brings you food, and you think that, oh wow, he's so nice to me. And one day, he's being super nice, and he like unties you, and it's like, just don't take out your blindfold. Like, would that do it for some of y'all? Would that do it for some of y'all? Because isn't that kind of mentally ill in a way? Where you're like, oh wow, like a man is nice to me. And that's why I assume that a lot of these people who kind of romanticize kidnappings, stalkings, and these really kind of toxic men are women that do not get attention from men. And I mean that in the kindest, most compassionate way. In, well, the most compassionate way that I can be, because you know me, I tend to be not really understanding. And so I say that in just a most flat out way, like, you must not get out a lot, because if you believe that, a man giving you the bare necessities is romance worthy, oh my gosh, babe, just become a lesbian at that point. I swear to God, just become gay at that point, become asexual, do something else, because that is not a world worth living in, babes. If a man wins over your heart simply because he gives you the bare necessities, aka, I don't know, leg and arm freedom, like circulation, and he gives you, I don't know, grub because you need to, I don't know, live? Let's talk about that. Let's think about that, right? What does that do for you? What does that do? I'm not sure what that does. I'm not sure what that does. I'm not. And like I said, if you're on the interwebs and you have that like kind of freedom to just kind of talk about whatever the fuck you want, you're gonna, because there's virtually no consequences that are going to come to you. So if you're on the internet and you're a freak and you're like, oh wow, I wish a man would crawl into my window at night, come into my room, kidnap me, or beat me up, or whatever the fuck they do, and do the do to me or some shit like that. I don't fucking know, dude. I don't want to say you're mentally ill, because you probably already know that. You're probably already on antidepressants, you're probably on antipsychotics, you're probably on something. And but there's something within you that's like, wow, that's so hot. I want to be boned by, well, not boned, but I want a relationship with a man that's mentally ill as well. And so the mentally ill tend to act like magnets almost, and I mean that nicely too because I have a lot of mentally ill friends as well. And it makes sense because the mentally ill usually sniff each other out like fucking bloodhounds. And so if you are already messed up in the head, you're going to attract somebody that's probably already messed up in the head as well. Because, that's just how mentally ill people are just in concept. And then uh I don't know, maybe it's a good thing actually. Like maybe it's a good thing that these kidnappers are kidnapping people that want to be kidnapped because then that would eliminate them having to kidnap people that don't want to be kidnapped. So maybe it's a win-win in the end. Like imagine, a kidnapper kidnapping someone that's like, "Oh wow, I think you're sexy because you're holding me hostage." And so it's a win-win for them because it probably would fulfill a fantasy of the kidnappers to have a willing participant in their delusion. But if they kidnap someone, or maybe it's a part of the delusion of where they're like, oh wow, like I'm kidnapping somebody against your will, and they're fighting against me, and that turns me on because I don't know, I have a sick mind, and I'm bored or something like that. I don't fucking know. So maybe I don't know, dude. I don't know why people kidnap because I feel like that would be so much fucking work. I don't think I've ever considered kidnapping anybody because I feel like I'm too lazy for that. A lot of the things that I wouldn't do is because I'm a lazy motherfucker. Like I don't like doing things, and so if I have to do something, then I would have to put effort into it. And so the act of kidnapping is very involved. Cause what you have to get first. Okay, let's. Okay, if we were to be kidnappers, let's think about this on their end. If we were to kidnap somebody, we would need restraints. We would need blindfold. We would need a plan, a getaway plan. Because well, how are we gonna abduct our victim? For once, not for once. Number one, how are we going to decide who our victim is? Number two, how are we going to get away with it? Like, how are we going to transport them? And how are we going to ensure that our movements are not tracked? And two, and not two, and now, and three, how are we going to restrain this individual for this amount of time? And three and four, how are we going to ensure that this victim is not going to escape from us? Because as we know, humans are very resilient and they will do whatever the fuck they need to do in order to survive. And so they will do the most outrageous shit in order to survive. And if they, would rather die than to be in your, than to be in your basement, then you're gonna have a dead body in your hands, and that's probably the last thing you want to do because you just want to kidnap somebody. But then it goes back to the concept of like, why would you want to kidnap somebody in the first place? Like, what would drive someone to do that other than being mentally ill? Yeah, that's a lot of thought, and then next thing you know, you have to spend more money to fucking feed this person unless you're feeding them like dog food or some shit. But it's likely you don't want to keep somebody in your basement that's eating dog food because they're going to have the most heinous shit ever because you're feeding them fucking dog food. So what's the point of keeping like a hostage in your basement other than to be, I don't know, to go down every now and then and be like, "Can we talk? Can I talk to you about my mommy? Can I talk to you about how my dad used to beat me?" Like at that point, the amount of effort that you're putting into kidnapping a person, you could be putting into finding a therapist. And so the act of like, oh, it looks like I'm pulling from you guys. Sorry, my ball of yarn is behind you. Um, but where's that going with that? But yeah, you could be putting that effort into like, I don't know, improving yourself, becoming a better person. But no, instead you're deciding to kidnap an innocent person for your own sick and twisted pleasure. And so that is why I'm not a kidnapper because, well, I have a lot of other avenues to fulfill my sick and twisted pleasures, aka and baking, cooking, occasionally being self-loathing in my room and doom scrolling. And I find that that really kind of helps me find pleasure in life. Um, but where was I going with that? I'm like, today I'm having like the weirdest train of thought. But anyways, there are so many ways to get your rocks off that does not involve harming other people. And so like you can't just have like a foot fetish. You can't just, I don't know, like belly buttons. You can't just, I don't know, jack off to, midget porn, like consenting adult films. You like what, can you tell that like the act of kidnapping like totally bedazzles me, bedoofles me, because I don't understand it one bit, man. Like the effort that you put into kidnapping is almost admirable because fucking A, bro. Like you could be, I don't know, fucking ranking up in Valorant. You could be, playing duos on Fortnite. You could, I don't know, be fucking making pottery. You could be smoking weed. You could be jacking off in your mom's basement. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But no, you decide to go out and kidnap somebody. Isn't that like mentally ill? Huh. Yeah, it is. And then it goes back to that concept of like, if you're in that situation of being kidnapped, is there something in your brain that's not be like, ooh woo, ooh woo, there's something wrong here. I think we're in danger. Is like it, like is that not going off in your brain? And I understand that, the vast majority of these individuals are most likely oh, I skipped a chain, I think. Have I been skipping chains? Oh no. You guys, I got so heated I stopped doing chains. Okay, but anyways. But I that's why I assume that the people that enjoy these dark fantasies are probably a little bit messed up in it. Well, not a little bit. They probably have a standby therapist. But still, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I mean, I guess it's not harming anybody. Let me get some water. I'm thirsty. But you know what? Like in the grand scheme of things, if they're just on the internet being weird and being like, "Oh my gosh, like I want some guy to kidnap me off the fucking street," but like in theory, like what is that gonna like? Why does that matter to me? I don't give a fuck about what you fantasize about. Like you can literally fantasize about a guy coming into your room and just farting on your fucking eye for like care, and I still wouldn't give a shit because what does that got to do with me? Like, what does that gotta do with me? I don't give a fuck if you want some guy to fucking just, like, I don't know, piss on you or beat you up to a fucking pulp. I don't give a fuck if that's what you're into. Like, what does that gotta do with me? But the fact that I gotta witness that on just the surface level interwebs, like, I gotta, like I can access this type of delusion. Just, oh my god, I skipped another chain. Oh my gosh. Like, the fact that I am witnessing this sickness just on Instagram, just not even, I don't even have to like, go to Reddit. I don't even have to go to 4chan to look at this shit. I get to see this like these fantasies online just as is, and it's definitely something. And that's why I think that some of y'all just need to just go outside, man. I don't even know what to say. Like go to your local Costco, go to like Walmart. I don't know. Like you don't even have to go hiking. You can just go outside and just absorb some vitamin D. Just get just photosynthesize and just think about yourself for a little bit. But anyways, I just don't know. I just don't understand it. The only reason why I'm kind of talking about this is because I feel like it's probably like the minors that have these fantasies. Because I don't think there are that many, well-rounded, rational-minded adults out there that have these fantasies of being abducted by mentally ill people and, you know, falling in love. I feel like that is a very like childish thought process because any sane adult, not even sane, I think I'm like a little conked in the head, but even then I'm just kind of like, I know that that's not right. So I feel like any just person would just be like, fuck, dude, this is wrong. Like, I should not be kidnapped right now. I should not be in a situation where some guy is breathing down my fucking neck with no consent. I shouldn't, be scared of leaving my house because I know someone's watching me, Um, but maybe that's what they get off on, that like voyeurism of like, oh wow, like there's someone that's so interested in me out there that they want to watch my every single move. They're so obsessed with me that they want to, be me. I don't fucking know. And I think that, when you're younger and you're attention deprived and you're just like, oh, mommy and daddy don't care about me, so I want a total sicko to pay attention to me, then that's why creepy pastas are a thing, That's why these 13-year-olds back in the day, aka used to fantasize about killers, murderers being their one and only, you know because they weren't paid attention enough paid because they didn't receive enough love and attention from their parents, or they didn't receive any attention period from anybody, and so they would go into these dark spaces and be like, oh wow, I would love for anybody, even the most deranged motherfucker out there, to give me just a smidgen of attention. But then, these 13-year-olds, aka, grow up and become a little bit more mature and understand workings of the world and how to get attention, and not even how to get attention, how to become comfortable with myself and become comfortable in that feeling of just being okay with the fact that I don't need attention. I don't need to be validated every fucking second of the world. I don't need to have someone obsess over me. I don't need people to care about me. I only need to care about myself and what I need to do. And so that's why I assume that a lot of these fantasies of wanting a stalker, of wanting a kidnapper, of wanting a murderer, or whatever the fuck, are primarily stemmed by children. Because that's the only way I can rationalize that in my adult mind, is that these children don't have a developed enough viewpoint of the world to understand the difference between love and whatever the fuck they're into. And so if it's just children out there being like, I want to get kidnapped, I want to get murdered, I want like a stalker or whatever the fuck, then man, the only thing I can say to them is just get therapy. Just get therapy, or get a hobby, or I don't know. I don't know what kids do nowadays. Fucking, I don't know. Watch fruit dance. I don't fucking know. Like, do something else other than that. But I mean, if you're already in it, then you're already in it. So I'm just gonna say, just let time take its course. It's unlikely that you're gonna encounter some freak that's actually gonna do the do, because, like I said, kidnapping and all that jazz is a lot of fucking work. And the amount of lazy motherfuckers in this earth is not just condensed down to me. I feel like there's at least got to be 5 lazier people than me in the world. And so I believe that it's likely that these children are not going to, get themselves into sticky situations because, one, they're stupid. 2, they ain't got no money. They ain't got no car. They ain't got no resources. And 3, they're a fucking loser. And so the likelihood of them getting kidnapped, of even getting a stalker, is very unlikely, because they are loser children that stay inside the house, that don't have any friends, and are not getting any attention from anybody. And so it's unlikely that they will ever get attention from anybody, much less a killer, a murderer, a stalker. Yeah. But if you're an adult that's still into it, then shit, man. I don't think I should even be talking to you. You're probably not even watching this video. You're probably, I don't know, fucking reading fan fiction about getting kidnapped or some shit like that. And you know what? Man, whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit. Like, I have, Mr. Hannibal up here, and, he's patient zero for fucked up syndrome, because, he has a very fucked up sense of romance in the sense that he enjoys humans in a very intimate way. And so I'm not gonna say that, there's moments where I'm kind of like, oh wow, like I think there is something to that, because I do think that, what Will and Hannibal have is kind of freaky deaky, but they're matching each other's freaks in a way. They're both mentally ill. They're both, little zonked in the head, and they're both, yeah. So that's where I'm like, okay, if two mentally ill, consenting adults are into whatever the fuck they're into, bondage, not bondage. That's easy work, bro. That's easy work. Like they're into, I don't know, role playing, kidnapping and kidnapper. Fuck, man, what does that got to do with me for real? If they're understanding that this is just a fantasy, and they understand that it's a little taboo, and they keep it in the bedroom, what's that got to do with me for real? But if some freaks out there, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else that's weird that's going on, but I'm just not on that side of the internet, so I'm not really sure. But I used to be, and it used to be that the internet was a lot harder to. I don't know. I feel like now you could much easily, you could easily access these weirdos, but I feel like back in the day it's a little bit harder because, well, as you guys know, I'm a little stupid. I'm a little dumb. And so the thought of me, somehow stumbling on things like 4chan and stuff like that, unconceivable. Because if a interface, if a social media platform is not structured like Instagram or Vine or anything that's super simple, I'm not getting on it, bro. Like, I am not going to go through the 4chan boards. I am not going to go through Kiwi farms. I am not going to go through Reddit. I do now because they made it a lot easier. But I only go on there for knitting, for crocheting stuff. And what else do I go on? Oh, yeah, I go on there for like cooking stuff because them motherfuckers, they be cooking. Yeah. But other than that, I don't go on them NSFW stuff. Cause yeah, I know there's oh my gosh, I gotta tell you guys something. This is in confidence, by the way. Okay, so you guys gotta keep this to yourself. One time, I was recommended this post that was on the subreddit of like Minnesota or something, cause I'm from there, and they were just talking about like, I don't know what the new state flag should be or some dumb shit like that. And I was just curious. I was scrolling around, and there was just this motherfucker that was talking about some shit, and I was like, okay, cool. And you know me, I'm a nosy motherfucker, so I was like, I wonder what this person, because I'm like, I wonder what other people in Minnesota are interested in. And most of the time, it's just like being into like home brewing or um D&D and some shit like that. But no, this time around when I clicked on the profile, it like popped up like this is a not safe for work profile. And from there I should have been, well, most of the time it's just that they're adults and they don't want minors interacting with their shit because they don't want kids up in their business. And I understand that. I totally do too, because if I have any minors watching me right now, like, get the fuck out. Like I said, you can live your life as you want, but get the fuck out. JK, you can do whatever you want. You have free will. But anyway, so I clicked on that profile, and at first I was like, oh, that's kind of weird that it's 18 plus. But I thought about it, and I was like, actually, that's pretty normal. And so I persevered on, and I I kind of wish I didn't, because I saw this man's wiener. I saw this man's wiener, and I saw him naked. And it wasn't like that like really sexy post where, he's showing off his gooter and he's showing off his bussy. No, it wasn't anything like that. Unfortunately, it was like, I think it was like in the it was like under a subreddit called like Rate Me or something like that. It was like an 18 plus subreddit where people would post pictures of themselves naked, and people would, I don't remember what it was. I think it was like either rate them or tell them if they look good or tell them if they have a potential in being attractive or something like that. I don't remember what the thing was actually called. I don't think it's called Rate Me. I think it's called something different, but I didn't look too into it because I was so taken aback because, one, I did not expect on a Sunday afternoon when I'm chowing down on some fucking chips to encounter a stranger's wiener on my page, and to be only, and to read a post about how he was talking about like, oh, like I'm currently hitting the gym and I'm starting to, because at first when I read the description first and then I scrolled down to see the picture, and I was like, at first I was like, oh wow, so it's just like a selfie of his body with just his torso, because a lot of guys do that on Reddit because that's what Reddit's about, I guess. I don't know. Um and so I was like, oh cool, he's into body improvement. I don't fucking know. But then I scroll down and I see his freaking schlong just hanging there, and people are like, "Oh wow," not "Oh wow," but people are like he was like, "Oh," and I'm thinking of like something about my wiener. Like I'm not too self conscious about it, but I'm wondering how to like make it bigger or if it's like a problem. And people are like, "No, like your size is normal," and I was just like, "Oh wow." I did not know that there was this side to Reddit because I just don't go on there. Like I literally get posts about rocks. I get posts about Taco Bell, Chipotle. I get posts about arborist. I get posts about trees. I get posts about rutabaga. I get posts about, fucking celebrity outfits. I get all these normal posts, and then I stumble onto this really strange side just by accident. And next thing you know, I'm reading these comments about these people talking about this guy schlong and how it isn't small. And I don't give a fuck if that man's wiener is big or small. Like, what's that got to do with me? But since he's asking for an opinion, obviously these people are going to be like, yeah, your schlong is not big, but it's not small. And I was like, oh my days. That is intriguing. And so I'm wondering if there is a subreddit out there that, has people who are interested in being kidnapped or having anything. You know what I'm talking about? Like I wonder if there's a subreddit out there that um lets people indulge these dark fantasies, aka being kidnapped, being stalked, and stuff like that. I wonder if there's something out there for that. But I don't know if I want to look for it. I don't know if I want to actively seek it out because I do feel that once I do that, I might be put on a list. I don't know. I feel like I might be put on a list for just looking at it because it does feel kind of criminal, but I mean, I'm probably on a list for something, but just not something devious. Just maybe a list of people just that should not be interacted with in person, but not doing anything criminally wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to look too deep into it because the second I go into that rabbit hole, it's gonna linger with me for a while. And right now, I'm doing really well. The only thing I've been thinking about is how big the universe is, and just thinking about exoplanets. And I really have been enjoying that. It's been bringing me a lot of peace, knowing that there is more life out there and that there is something being done about it. I really like that personally because I am comforted by the fact that um, there's things being done about this dilemma of if there's life out there. I don't know if this is big enough. I always end up making things either too small or too big, and that's because I just don't care. But I think this is big enough. This is going to be the back panel. Um, so I think this is probably big enough. If it isn't, I'll just hang it up and stretch it out. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. But anyways, I was wondering, I mean, I'm not really, but I mean, I'm here already, so I guess I might just ask if any of you are into these type of fantasies. I'd be interested as to why you are. And like I said, I was in your shoes when I was 13, but I mean, if you're an adult, then I'd be more inclined to hear your opinion than if you were 13. Because I already know what it's like when you're 13 because my ass was down bad. Like bad, like astronomically bad. What was his name? Like Ben Eyeless Ben or some shit or Eyeless Jack. I don't remember what his name is. I think it's Eyeless Jack. I was so into him. I thought he was the hottest motherfucker in the world, and I was like dream about him and stuff like that. And I'll read fan fictions about him, and I would fantasize about him. But that was only for like a month, and then I moved on to I don't know, like Hitalia? No, Hitalia was like way, way up, like before that. I think I got into like One Direction after that, which is kind of shocking to think about. But anyways, I've been there, man. I've been there. I've been in the shoes of like someone that's, wanting attention of any kind, just attention of any kind, even if it's not beneficial to me. But I grew out of that because I'm just an adult now. I know better. But if you're an adult and you still think like that, I'd be interested to hear. I don't really want to shame you for it because I don't give a fuck about what you do in your free time. Unless you come and kidnap me, then I'd be a little bit worried. And for me, if I have a stalker, I don't really care. I don't do anything too special anyway, so I don't give a fuck. Like if someone's outside my window right now listening to me talk, well, I would like to hear a round of applause first of all because I just like to be appreciated. But second of all, if you can get me a fucking Baja Blast, that'd be great because I've been kind of craving one, honestly. Watch me wake up tomorrow and there's a Baja Blast at my fucking door. I think I was shit bricks. um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's definitely a devious thing to think about. Wanting someone to give you attention in the most evil way. But maybe it's like that thought of, oh wow, they're so obsessed, like I said before, like they're so obsessed with me and they're so in love with me, they're so deeply entrenched in my being, and they want to know so much about me that they are willing to traverse the taboo and traverse the laws just in order to be with me. I mean, if that's what you want, babes, and that's what you want, honestly. um and dare I say, I don't want to say it, but if you are into this stuff, I wonder if you have daddy issues. Does that stem from your mommy or your daddy? I wonder. I don't know. I feel like people with mommy issues tend to be the one that does the bad stuff. But it's probably the people with the daddy issues that wants the bad stuff. But I'm not sure if my theory is substantial enough to really say that you know, it's a correlation by any means. Because people with mommy issues tend to lack affection. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have mommy issues. The fuck? I don't have daddy issues either. I just have issues. Just as is. I don't really have a lot going on with me other than that. And so I feel like people with mommy issues tend to be the people that do the killing because I don't know. I think Ted Bundy had a problem with his mom or something like that, right? And I don't know. Jeffrey Dahmer probably had something wrong with his mommy too, or maybe something wrong with his daddy. I don't remember. But it's usually the women that online that have daddy issues are generally the people that are in these kind of darker romance groups that enjoy darker romance novels and enjoy, the darker side of sex, aka I don't know, getting like getting whipped and getting pet play and all that jazz. And another thing, I used to get videos recommended to me about like age play, and I just don't know why. Like way way back in the day when I was like 17, I would just be on like TikTok. I don't even know if it's TikTok. I think it might have been Instagram. But I was just fucking. The only thing that was on my feed at that time was art, like art, uh, posts and anime posts because I was in that shit. And sometimes I would get recommended these posts about these age regressors or whatever the fuck, and I went down this deep deep rabbit hole back in the day. And you know what, that's why I don't go in rabbit holes, because they continuously think that I'm into that stuff, and so they recommend me more stuff because I'm engaging with it. But instead, I'm engaging with it because I'm in so much fucking shock and horror that anybody would ever be into that stuff. And so I'm just going through their page and being like, what the fuck is going on here? But no, I'm not interested. But they think I am. And so they continuously show that shit on my page. And for the longest time, that was the only thing that was being recommended to me. Oh my gosh. And I just had to force my algorithm to start giving me the stuff that I actually want to see. But the things that I saw on those people's pages, oh my days. If you guys ever want like a rabbit hole to go down, you guys have to go check out age play and age regression, because that stuff is so fucking entertaining. It's horrendously funny to me. And it's not like I'm passing judgment onto them. I'm just fascinated. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then I do some digging, and next thing you know, I find out one of them is like a NASA scientist. I find out one of them, is a fucking lawyer for fucking Johnson and like, no, I'm lying, but like I find out all this stuff about them, and I'm just like, this could be anybody. This motherfucker's in Kansas doing this shit. Man, I go down such a rabbit hole, and it's not even productive either. It's just me fulfilling that sick and twisted, um, sick and twisted need to be stimulated by weird shit. And so when I see this shit, I'm not getting turned on. I'm not getting any of that. I'm just being, I'm just, it's almost like looking at like a car crash. I like watching car crashes because it shocks the fear in me that I should not be on the road. And yeah, and so that's what I kind of akin those things to. Like whenever I haven't seen them in a while, so I'll be honest with you, I don't know how prevalent that community is now, but back in the day, it definitely was. But I don't. I don't get those videos anymore, or that content anymore, so I'm not sure if it's still the same or if it's any different. But if you guys have like a private account, or if you have an account that's meant for stalking your ex-boyfriend, I would implore you to check out some of these age regression accounts, because my god, are they fucking amazing. And the amount of drama that goes on in one of them, truly tantalizing. Oh my gosh, so much fucking drama with people in diapers, grown people in diapers, as a matter of fact, because I'd be shocked if babies were beefing online. um Maybe they are, actually, because there are quite a bit of iPad babies nowadays. So maybe they are beefing online about like what Coco Melon character is the best. I don't fucking know. I don't watch fucking Coco Melon. The fuck. But yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm never here to yuck anyone's yum. I don't care about if you're into age regression. I don't care if you like getting tied up. I don't care if you like getting pissed on. I don't care if you like being dominated by a mommy. I don't care if you're a pay pig and you like being humiliated. I don't care, as long as you don't bring it out in public. If I'm out in Target, trying to buy CeraVe for my shit ass acne, and I find you in the aisle on your knees in front of a very sexy lady, being slapped with dollar bills, I think I'd be really, really agitated. Not agitated. I think I would be more so disgusted, and then I would become agitated, because why the fuck are you in this CeraVe aisle? You couldn't bring this to, I don't know, the fucking hair dryer aisle. You couldn't bring it to the fucking tampon aisle. You had to bring it to where I need to be. Like, you're being an inconvenience to me right now. Like, if you were doing it in any other aisle, you could literally be doing it in the laundry aisle, and I would give less of two shits. But since you are inconveniencing me, you're pissing me off and you're disgusting. But otherwise, I don't care. Out of sight, out of mind, man. Like, if there's people out there that enjoy the feeling of wet armpits in their fucking gooter, man, I don't give a rat's fucking ass, man. There's a lot of kinks out there, and as long as they don't hindrance my enjoyment of the world, then what's that got to do with me? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like swingers, I don't like this and that. And I'm like, man, if married couples want to fuck and pass around chlamydia, what's that got to do with me? What has that got to do with me, man? Because recently I saw this TikTok about this swinger couple going on this cruise, and the gag of it all is that they made swinger merch that they were going to hand out to their swinger buddies, and they were decorating their door for this cruise, and they were talking about how they were so excited for this swinger cruise. And the only thing, at first I was like, I did not know that cat videos can generate this type of content. I didn't know that me liking cat videos would send me swinger content, but here we are. And so at first I was like, oh, okay, okay. And then I go into the comments and the people are like, I feel so bad for the employees having to clean up all that jizz. And I'm like, I feel like employees have probably cleaned up worse than just human feces, not feces, but jizz and like humanly and like body fluids and stuff. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't give enough of a rat's ass of what married couples do be like on a fucking cruise. Like if they want to get freaky deaky on the ocean, man, as long as they're not doing it in the fucking Target, I don't give a fuck. As long as they're not doing it in Olive Garden, as long as they're not doing it on the streets, as long as they're not doing it in a fucking kindergarten, as long as they're not doing it where I can see them, man, fuck, man, they can do anything they want on the ocean. They could, fucking run a train on a grandma for all I care, and I don't give a rat's ass. They could literally do a human centipede version of the most freakiest, deakiest action ever, and I would not give a rat's ass. Because why? Because why would I care? What does that got to do with me? It's not like I'm on that fucking cruise. It's not like I'm participating in the human centipede of fuckery. So what does that got to do with me? Surely nothing. Surely nothing. Surely nothing. And so that is that is my ultimate wisdom for some of you. Mind your own fucking business. Honest to God. Like if you stumble across some kinky content and you're like, oh my gosh, what the fuck? Man, just fucking block that shit if you don't want to see it. But for me, I'm just curious. I'm just really curious. This is why I'm talking about this like kidnapping and stuff like that, because I'm just curious as to why, if you are an adult, as to why you are interested in that stuff. Because if you're a kid, I already know what you're all about. You're dumb, you're stupid. I don't give a fuck about what you think. But as an adult, I care more about your opinion. So if you're into that type of stuff, really curious. I'm not gonna, the second you leave a comment, be like, repent, repent. When you get when the rapture's coming, blah blah blah, this and that. I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I just want to know what you're all about, babes. I just want to know what you're all about. That's all I care about. Or maybe don't tell me. I don't know. If you tell me, maybe I might be recommended more content about it. What, like, watch me go on my phone later, and next thing you know, I'm being showed content about women being stalked or some. I don't know. The phones are always listening to us one way or another, so I don't know, man. But yeah, never here to yuck anyone's yum, I suppose. Unless I have to witness it, then yeah, I will yuck someone's yum. Like I hate it when straight couples, how do I word this? Impose themselves on me. I just don't like it. Because it ruins my day, it ruins my afternoon, it just ruins a lot of things. Like that one couple that Cody Ko and Noelle used to cover about, I was buying rosé and you were buying celery. That couple, I don't like it when they impose onto me. If it was a gay couple, I would find it a little bit less irritating, but still irritating. But since it's a straight couple imposing onto me, I don't like it one bit. Or like those posts where, oh, he cream pied at me and now I have you. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Or like when they're like, oh, we're trying for a kid. Like we've been trying every single night for a kid. Okay. Okay. Like what's that got to do with me? Honestly, what does that got to do with me? Like I'm glad you're pregnante, like for sure, for sure. But you got to tell me that your husband's been pumping and dumping in you, and for why? I just think that in general, just as a golden rule, we as people on the interweb should just be a little bit more conservative in the sense that we just got to we just got to be a little bit more secretive about ourselves. And what I mean by conservative, I don't mean, going around calling people the N words and calling people the R words and calling people, I was going to say I was gonna say a type of fucking pasta, but I can't remember the name of it. Is it like farfafel? Farfafelli? What is it called? Farfafel? Farfel? It's the bow ties. What are they called? Farfel? Farfafelli? I don't know what they're called, but yeah, yeah. Really weird, freaky deaky stuff. But hey, hey. If you guys want to know some, like, listen to some really like cool stuff about BDSM and like all that bull, you guys should watch. What's her name? Cat Black or something like that. I don't remember what her freaking name is, but she makes some really interesting content about that stuff, and it's really cool. There's another creator that's like asexual that's into like BDSM, and it's really cool to kind of listen to her talk about her experience as someone who doesn't experience sexual um, stuff despite being into a heavily sexualized community. It's really cool. So if you guys are into that, I recommend that. But I don't think I can recommend any other creators that aren't um, 18 plus. I mean, I don't know if Cat Black's like content. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right, or if I'm saying her name like correct, not even correctly. Like if I'm getting her name correctly, if it, at all. But I think her content is pretty cool. But I don't know if she covers that stuff anymore. I think she covers more so of like social content. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I should be recommending YouTubers because I watch the most brain rot shit ever. But yeah, I think that's all I gotta say for now. I think I'm just letting it go. But here's what I have so far. It still needs to be longer, but I think I'm making some good progress. If you guys want to know what stitch I'm using, it's literally just a double. I'm doing a double, a chain, a double, a chain, a double. And so that's how I'm getting this grid effect. And I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook. This is a Clover. I got it on sale. Don't buy it at full price if you have to. And I'm using, I don't know what brand this is because I suck at keeping track, but I'm 10% sure that this is Lion brand. And if it isn't, then it's Caron or whatever, Caron. And if it isn't, then it's Red Heart. So yes. Anyways, that's all I gotta say for that. I will be back on with something more interesting. I feel like this topic's kind of strange. I don't even know what I was talking about for majority of it. I think I was just focusing on this, but yeah. That's all I gotta say for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, kisses.